afternoon and welcome to the Glass House Murphy Center on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. I'm Chris Yao. We've got Mo Patton here, and we hope that you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday.
If wet.
It's a wild, wacky, and wet Wednesday. There is no doubt as we look outside, it is just pouring.
But you know what? I'm not complaining.
It could be ice, and it's not, so we'll take that. And there's no doubt. Tonight is Greek night here at Murphy Center as Middle Tennessee State men's basketball welcomes the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. We are going to be talking a little bit about that later in the show, along with other Middle Tennessee college basketball teams with Joe Sullivan as he joins us on Wednesday at 3:25 as he typically does. We've also got our regular Wednesday guest back, I guess. We're starting back with, as NASCAR gets closer and closer, we are going to be joined by Heather Williams and talk a little bit about what NASCAR's got going on. They dumped a bunch of news on us last night, so it works out perfect that we have Heather on today. And, of course, there's some Titans news and restructuring of the front office, or at least, I guess, somewhat of the vision is now out. So, Mo, it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, obviously. Okay, so I said I wouldn't complain. Maybe that's changed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it started.
You can hear it.
Yeah, it started to pick up a little bit out there. You can hear it on the roof of the Murphy Center here. Yeah. At least we're parked close.
We are parked close. We'll take absolutely. So
yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a good show. Always good when we can be here in the Glass House.
100%. I 100% agree. So let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into yesterday's results and today's schedule, Mo, on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
High school girls basketball action from Tuesday night. Middle Tennessee Christian defeated Battleground Academy 74-44. Blackman with a 47-17 win over Siegel. Clarksville down Kirkwood 64-15. It was Goodpasture 52, Clarksville Academy 45. Rossview with a 59-13 win over Clarksville Northeast. Cookville defeated Wilson Central 70-31. Donaldson Christian 52, Ezel Harding 27. Father Ryan with a 34-22 win over Brentwood Academy. Eagleville 75, Fayetteville 70. Sounds like a good one there. Franklin Road Academy with a 68-19 win over University School of Nashville. Hendersonville defeated Cross County rival Gallatin 47-29. Tullahoma with a 53-27 win over Giles County. It was Harpeth Hall 41, Ensworth 30. Henry County 53, Kenwood 22. Joe Burns defeated Todd County Central of Kentucky 69-68. Overton 52, Antioch 43. Lawrence County 60, Murfreesboro Central 54. Lebanon with a 63-31 win over Laverne. Macon County defeated White House 45-35. Hillsboro 62, McGavock 17. Sycamore 69, Montgomery Central 12. Nashville Christian doubled up Davidson Academy 72-36. It was Upperman 48, Oakland 35. Summertown with a 49-43 win over visiting Perry County. Pope Prep 57, St. Cecilia 21. Richland with a 51-47 win over Cornersville. Rockvale with a 60-47 win over Riverdale. Springfield defeated Clarksville Northwest 43-41. It was Stewart's Creek 62, Smyrna 20. Waverly with a 47-41 win over Houston County. Cheatham County defeated White House Heritage 51-31. Dixon County defeated Zion Christian 60-36. And missing for some reason, Columbia Academy with a comeback 56-53 win over Grace Christian Academy. Coverage at MainStreetMurray.com.
Boys basketball action last night. Battleground Academy 64-45 winners over Middle Tennessee Christian. Siegel downs Blackman 56-52. Kirkwood 65-52 winners over Clarksville. Clarksville Academy 54-48 against Goodpasture. It was Rossview 100. Clarksville Northeast 44.
Ooh.
Columbia Academy a 52-40 win over Grace Franklin. Cookville 76, Wilson Central 50. Donaldson Christian falls to Ezo Harding 47-37. Brentwood Academy a 59-51 winner over Father Ryan. Fayetteville Downs Eagleville 72-68. A pair of really good games, it appears, in that one. University School of Nashville 43-41 against Franklin Road Academy. Gallatin Downs Henderson to a 51-45. It was Tullahoma 64. Giles County 58. Henry County Downs Kenwood 51-48. Hume Fogg, a 49-40 winner over Lawson. Joe Burns downs Todd County Central of Kentucky, 64-48. Antioch 54, John Overton 40. Knowledge Academy is a 57-42 winner over Franklin Christian. It was Lawrence County 70, Murfreesboro Central 58. Laverne 46-35 against Lebanon. White House downs Macon County 70 to 66. Glencliff a 65-64 winner and a barn burner there over Martin Luther King. Ensworth 57. MBA 47. Hillsboro downs McGavock 80-15. East Robertson 58. Merrill Hyde 38. It was Montgomery Central 44-41 winners over Sycamore. And for some reason that just jumped to the bottom. Friendship Christian 72-38 winners over Mount Juliet Christian. Nashville Christian falls to Davidson Academy 54-41. Upperman 65. Oakland 41. Summertown 64-61 winners against Perry County. It was Richland 69-52 over Cornersville. Rockville 72-45 over Riverdale. Springfield falls to Northwest of Clarksville 57-50. Smyrna edges at Stewart's Creek 74-73. Not edging Stratford was East Nashville 77-27 over the Spartans. Houston County 63. Flip it and reverse it. Waverly 36. Providence Christian 65-53 winners over Webb School. Cheatham County falls to White House Heritage 65-38. Zion Christian 77. Dixon Academy 33. And in men's basketball action last night, Belmont drops its fourth straight. This one to Illinois State 77-67.
Today's schedule, high school basketball. Laverne is at Cookville. That's a 6 o'clock start. These are all doubleheaders, all starting at 6 o'clock with the girls. Laverne is at Cookville at 6. Brentwood is at Independence at 6. Smyrna is at Lebanon. Beach goes to Mount Juliet. Page hosts Centennial. Ravenwood takes on visiting Franklin. Greenbrier is at Station Camp, and Nolansville travels to Summit. Men's basketball action, 6:30, right down there. Jacksonville State is here at the Glass House taking on the Blue Raiders of MTSU. On the women's side, Middle Tennessee State is at Jacksonville State. That's a 6:30 start as well. In the association, Memphis goes to Miami. That's a 7 o'clock tip-off. Nothing on the ice tonight?
Nothing on the ice tonight.
Nothing on the ice tonight. That is your rundown.
Top stories brought to you by Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Make sure to go by and get your fresh hand-cut meats, delicious daily lunch specials, and, of course, produce. All of that cost plus 10 at the registers. Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Mo, before we get into this top story, we would be remiss if we did not say congratulations to Todd Helton for his impending induction.
He will be inducted as part of the 2024 Baseball Hall of Fame class later this summer. I'm not sure exact date, but joining him will be Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and of course Jim Leland, who was voted in late last year by one of the subcommittees. And we've talked about this before. Todd Helton will become the second former Southeastern Conference baseball player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's for the players that have come through that conference, for him to only be the second really is mind-boggling.
And how about this? Both of them also played football. In college. That is very weird, right?
That is very well. It's the South, though. I mean,
yes, yeah, it's football scheme, right?
Yeah, both played first base.
But I'm telling you that the similarities are just insane. Both played for teams that started with C. Chicago and Colorado. I'm telling you, it's weird.
It's pretty uncanny. Hopefully, as I posted on my Facebook page, there will be no commercials for Todd involving
What? Yeah. Any of those things.
Yeah.
Now, did you see the video from Thomas Harding last night?
I did not.
Todd Helton got the call. That was a pretty emotional moment for he and his family. It was really cool to watch, and glad that Thomas was able to be there and to document that situation.
we tried to get him on today, but travel plans.
I feel like he's probably a little busy.
well, he's traveling.
Yeah.
So, in fact, he offered to do, to record something earlier, but we had so much else going on pre-show that just wasn't going to work out. But we're going to try to get him on here at some point real soon.
So I actually have a weird connection to Todd Helton. My best friend, it's his nephew. So he's my best friend's uncle.
Oh,
I know, crazy,
I was
right?
about to say Todd's his nephew. How old is your best friend?
Well, okay. So how much of a connection do you have?
Yeah, how
So
connected are you?
I've met him a couple times.
Can you get a phone number though? That's the real question. Can you get him on this show?
Can you get him on this show?
That is the
I can
section we were trying to get to.
I will definitely ask. I definitely will. I know it's been a huge deal for them. I've seen his trophy room at his house in Knoxville. It's insane.
Justin, Todd Helton, other than January 31st, Todd Helton has an open invitation to come on this show.
I got you.
Okay, so closed mouths don't get fed, Justin.
I know.
And seems
No. And
now's as good of a time as any
mm-hmm.
to tell folks what's going to be happening.
To give Exhibit A of said.
All right. So here's the thing. January 30th. On
the 30th, my fault.
Yeah, January 30th, next Tuesday, on this show at 2:25, you guys will be privileged enough to hear from the voice of the Atlanta Braves on Bally Sports, Brandon Gaudin will join us.
I'm fired up.
2024 NSMA Broadcaster of the Year for the state of Georgia. And he will be on this show joining us at 2:25 next Tuesday. Put it in your calendar, mark it down, do not miss it. The reason I say that is because I tweeted at him. I was like, hey, congrats. He said, thanks back. So I shot my shot after Mo said, hey,
shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. So I tweeted back and said, hey, we'd love to have you come on the show. A couple DMs later, Brandon Gaudin is coming on the show.
No,
so yeah,
we say that to say this, Justin.
Ask.
Your assignment is to get Todd Helton on the show.
I would say we're pretty close. He the first time I met him, he smushed my mustache on my face. He was like, "That looks dumb." He's a very intimidating guy, but I got this. I got y'all.
And you promptly shaved it off, right?
And you were like, "Okay, no more mustache."
Exactly. He had Barry Bonds' bat in his garage,
in his garage.
In his garage.
Not
like
on
trophy
the wall.
case.
Just in the
Exactly.
garage.
Exactly.
Well, one of them's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get into our actual top story.
Yeah, we probably should.
Tennessee State made an announcement in regards to its football program. They must have been real tired of Middle Tennessee State just consistently barraging Middle Tennessee and their social medias with big-time coaching hires, because Eddie George said,
all right, then.
Hold my Gatorade or whatever.
Yes, hold my water.
And he goes out and gets one of the, if not the premier offensive coordinators in all of FCS football.
Goodness gracious.
Tyler Roll, formerly of North Dakota State, has been named associate head coach and offensive coordinator for the Tennessee State Tigers.
Tyler Rowe, All-America running back at North Dakota State. You wouldn't pull the guy from his alma mater. And
I wonder if he's got one of those Gerard Mayo clauses in his contract.
Well, he has been named associate head coach and OC He was at North Dakota State for 11 years. The last 5 as play caller for the Bisons. They went to the national finals 3 years and won it in 29 and 21. Over his tenure at NDSU, they have won 7 FCS championships, 8 Missouri Valley Football Conference championships. So this guy is...
Not only is he an NDSU grad, but he is from West Fargo. That is not just his... That's his hometown.
Mm-hmm. I mean...
He came down here, saw the snow, and was like, well, it's not much different at all.
He and Brian Callahan must have been here the same weekend.
Wait, y'all don't have a dome?
Not yet.
Soon enough.
Not yet.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
Tyler.
This
may be the biggest coaching news in the FCS this offseason.
And what does this do for recruiting?
I think it's massive. I think it opens up your recruiting to a more national level, because this is a guy who's been to the mountaintop. He knows what it takes to get there. He can go and get guys from that. Well, I mean, let's look at it. Where are all the best teams in the FCS? Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota State. They're all up there in the same area. Now you've got a guy who can recruit that area.
This is huge.
I'm talking like Sam Herder of FCS Nation Radio. Dude was in absolute shock. It was announced on January 8th that Tyler Roll had been elevated to NDSU's associate head coach. And now they've gone and gotten him away. Was he the head coach in waiting at NDSU?
I mean, I'd love to learn more about this situation, and hopefully we will learn more about it in the coming days. But I
will say this. TSU's tweet has been deleted.
TSU's tweet regarding the hire has been deleted?
I mean, obviously the press release is still here. We're looking at it. So I assume that everything's still good, but the original tweet has been deleted.
That's interesting.
Now there is, okay, so they just did a different tweet. They probably had his @ wrong or something.
Okay.
And just redid it. But the original tweet, I was like, wait a minute, it's not there. But no, he's still coming, and he's taking the same position. I mean, they literally just promoted him at North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
And instead he wants to come to Nashville, to an HBCU that plays in the OVC.
But I think one of the great mysteries of this HBCU in the OVC has been why they've not been able to consistently be successful in it. I mean, everything that Tennessee...
part of it's when they came. I mean, they came at the same time as Jacksonville State, who was a powerhouse.
Tennessee State?
To the OVC.
No, Tennessee State's been in the OVC since late 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was mid-90s.
No. In fact, they won the OVC back-to-back years, like 98 and 99, something like that, with LC Cole. I mean, they've had some success. They've just not sustained it. And as Derek Mason and his staff said when they were at Vandy, you're in the city, you're in the SEC, TSU is in Nashville, the IT city.
And the only HBCU that plays for a FCS national title.
Yep. So, I mean, it's interesting, again, that they've not been able to sustain success.
Especially when UT Martin has found success, and it's not like
it's not a conference thing.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's not.
No. That said, UT Martin, Austin P weren't able to get to the top
Right.
in postseason play, but
Yeah.
they've
I think Jacksonville may be the only OVC team to make a national championship game in the last 30 years.
Yeah, probably.
And so,
I mean, there was a time when Eastern was,
yeah,
but they've been out of the conference for what, 8-10 years now, probably. MTSU had some sustained
Really good
success on a national level. Never got to a championship game, but certainly there were some games that champions came through here.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I just think this is a hire that really elevates TSU on so many different levels. I'm excited to see how this goes.
When we talked about Eddie George taking the job without any real coaching experience, especially at the head coaching level, these are the kind of people we felt like he needed to surround himself with in order to be successful. I don't know how difficult it was a recruiting pitch to those coaches in the beginning, and I don't know that he did make those pitches. I don't know how he went about, putting together his staff in the first place. But it's clear that Eddie George wants to win because, and not just Eddie George, but his administration just made a massive, massive move in order to give him what he needs to be successful at this level.
Sure. Absolutely.
And you can't ask for much more than that.
Roll replaces former offensive coordinator Theron H., who had replaced Hugh Jackson as OC.
When Hugh went to Grambling.
Mm-hmm. Hugh, who has since left Grambling. Yeah.
Not of his own accord.
Yeah. TSU 6-5 this past year. Lost their season finale 35-0 to Tennessee Tech, who promptly fired Dwayne Alexander.
Yeah, I don't know. They opened their season against Mississippi Valley State. They better win that in the John Merritt Classic. Didn't they play North Dakota State on the road?
No.
In game 2.
Oh, goodness.
Just FYI.
Oh, okay.
That will be...
That's a little spicy.
Unique.
That's a little spicy.
That is something.
Yeah.
Is what that is. So just letting you know. They got to go to Fargo September 7th. Well, you might want to put that one on your calendar, folks.
Shouldn't be overly cold in September.
No, but it'll still be in a dome, so it won't matter. The Fargo Dome exists, and thank goodness for that, right? All right, let's take a break. Heather Williams is standing by. We've got NASCAR to talk about, and we will get to it in just a moment. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We're back in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Good. Yes, we're started. Yeah.
We are from the Murphy Center here on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University again tonight. Jacksonville State is in the Glass House for a men's basketball game at 6:30. Make sure to come on out. It is Greek night, so but I don't think there are going to be any baklava to be had.
I wonder if there will be any togas to be had.
Ooga.
Or to be seen.
Let's hope not. Let's.
It's
gonna be a crazy night. Gonna be a lot of fun, and of course, we'd love to have you guys come on out to this game. But if not, Joe Sullivan and I will be courtside. Mo, will you be back in time? Hopefully. So, Mo is hoping to make it back in time, and Mo has state bowling to go to, where Columbia Central's Alex Davis is at the top of the ladder in the Division I finals. So if all goes well, we'll have a state champion in Murray County by the time I get back. That would be cool. Yeah. All right. So all of that's still coming up. Right now, we are not going to talk in circles with Heather Williams, but
we're going to talk about going in circles.
That's right. We are, in fact, as NASCAR is quickly approaching. It's only been like 6 weeks since we've had her on because NASCAR's off season is about as long as the naps I take, and so that's about it. But Heather, again, not a very long time no see.
We're talking NASCAR. I thought you were going to have me on to talk about the Chiefs.
Well, we can do that too.
We can talk. We can talk Chiefs, but, and I'm sure you got plenty to say. But we need you to talk a little NASCAR.
Fair enough.
Because we can't.
Well, Heather, once again, welcome back.
Sure, I love coming on.
Always fun to have you. And when we decided that we needed to start having you on, we did not anticipate NASCAR dropping all of their news the night before.
One day.
How perfect and fortuitous is this?
Yeah, because we have plenty to talk about. Pick your poisons, whatever direction you want to go.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with something that's semi-mundane but really cool, I think, and is obviously going to be great for the teams. And part of it, the folks at Trackhouse were a big part of getting this done. Pit road advertisements have always been just like banners. They're now allowed to be digital so that your sponsor can change in each pit stop. And that's pretty cool, right? I mean, NASCAR is really kind of getting with the times, I guess.
It's going to be interesting. It is kind of cool. I mean, I think it is when there's a night race. One of the coolest things is to see the pit boards for the pit stops all lit up with the LED lights and how beautiful that looks. So, I guess it just kind of depends. If they start to get a little bit crazy, they could get a little distracting. But I think it's gonna be cool, and it's good. It's good for the sponsors, right? Because very many times there are multiple sponsors on a car, and this allows them to get more exposure during the race. Because if you buy a quarter panel, or if you buy a deck lid, you're not as visible as who's on the hood. So now that's giving those sponsors, if that's how you want to use this, more exposure during the race. A really good chance to see what those other sponsors are, other than the great big one that's just on the hood.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I'm excited to see how it's utilized, and hopefully it won't be too distracting and someone runs into it. That would be that would not be great. But
it's all fun and games till then, right?
Right. And some of the other things, I think this is a really interesting thing, because this has nothing to do with the big the big circuit. But what's the point of decreasing the gallon size of the gas can in Xfinity racing?
To make them stop more, to bring pit stops more into it. I mean, they've gotten so good at gas mileage, and especially with the stage breaks and everything, that there are very few green flag pit stops, and there's not a lot of calculation in those shorter races. So it just makes strategy and green flag pit stops and calculating when to stop outside of those stage breaks, just brings it into play a little bit more than it has been, specifically in the Xfinity Series race, because the Cup races are long enough that you're still going to get some gas mileage things going on and some issues with mileage. But those Xfinity races being so much shorter, sometimes you only have to pit during the stage breaks, and that's it.
Yeah. So they are making the gas can smaller. Are they going to make the cars gas tanks smaller as well?
No, you just got a 3/4 tank instead of full.
Oh, okay. So you can only put one can in.
You can put as many cans as you want during a stop. Yeah. I mean, you could put 3 cans, I suppose. I mean, most teams do 2 cans during a stop.
But that's just going to elongate the stop, and you don't want to do that, because then you lose track position, and
you don't want to do that.
But I guess if you have more gas than everybody, you can get that track position back. I mean,
theoretically, but if there's an extra caution, then that blows that out the window. It's just more strategy in it, right? I mean, that's what we want. That's why people want the stage breaks back in the road courses. We tried out that the strategy was just when they ran out of gas and didn't change any strategy whatsoever, and everybody was like, "Well, this is no fun." So we're going back. So I mean, anything that they could do to break up and shake up the strategy, that's what they're trying to do.
Well, speaking of road courses, our friend Ian, who joins us from Australia on occasion and watching the show, welcome to Ian. He says that SVG will show the Americans how to drive.
Hasn't he already?
Oh, I thought so. He has been as good as anyone in a short time.
The challenge for SVG is going to be the closed circuit stuff, right? Because he obviously showed in the road course, and then when he in the street race and in the road course, that he's as talented, if not more so, at that discipline of racing than anyone in the Cup Series. He finished first in his first race and top 10 in his second race. But when he drove a truck last year in an oval at Indy, he finished 19th. So that's where he needs to grow and learn. Super talented. Don't think it'll be an issue. He's running a ton of races between different series this year, so he will figure it out. But that's where the learning curve is going to be. But I think he has, when it comes to road courses and street courses, he's got nothing to prove. He's already proven he's as good as anyone in NASCAR right now.
No question. All right. So
hold up. We should have done this sooner.
I was going to let you do it at the end, but you can do it now.
Well, I want to do it now because I might forget again. Heather brought home some hardware relative to her NASCAR coverage here recently, and I want her to tell us about it because I'm not real well versed on it, but I certainly want people to know that we don't bring you slaps
No, it's
on Main Street Sports today.
National Motorsports Press Association's first place winner for live event broadcast television and second place for event-oriented feature on television. Anything else?
That sounds good. Is that good?
That seems good.
Yeah.
Yes, first and second. I lost you guys a little bit, but yeah, National Motorsports Press Association. It's several hundred people from all disciplines of racing. So dirt racing, drag racing, short track racing, NASCAR, F1. Driver of the year was an F1 driver. So anyone that covers motorsports can be in it. And there's no divisions. So Market 101 Bristol, Tennessee is going up against Fox Sports in these categories. So we took home a first and a second in 2 different categories, and pretty proud of that for our little tiny TV station.
We're pretty proud of you and pretty proud to have you on the show. So again, congratulations for that. Now,
thanks.
on with the show.
We'll get back into it. Okay, so qualifying. We've talked about it on this show. Qualifying is changing a little bit. Can you explain what they're actually doing with the inside-outside groups and whatnot?
So it's going to be basically a little bit like what they do with the duels, right? You know, you run the first duel, you run the second duel. So just doing that all year round with the qualifying group. So they'll still pick the top 10 and they'll requalify the top 10. Just like at Daytona, we do qualifying, we do the top first row. And then everybody else outside of the top 10, aside from Daytona, everybody outside of the top 10 will go the 11th place qualifier from Group 1, or the top qualifier outside of the top 10 would be the easier way to put it. From Group 1 would go 11th. The top qualifier out of Group 2 outside of the top 10 would go 12, back and forth, back and forth. Oh. And I think the reasoning behind that is that we found is that qualifying is so long now the way they do it. Weather conditions, track temperature, all those kinds of things is giving one group an advantage over another. And so that way, those that don't make the top 10, because when the top 10, everybody's qualifying under the same conditions and it kind of evens itself out. But if you're in Group A and everybody in Group A, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, the track's cold, and you're not pulling as much horsepower as Group B, where we now have rubber, it's now noon, the track's warmer. That track B, you're going to have way faster cars. So it's helping to even it out and to not give, just because you qualified in A or B, an advantage in starting. It's just how you are relative to the group that you're qualifying with at the same time.
I think that's going to be, I think that's actually very forward thinking for NASCAR. And yeah, I mean, it obviously was making a difference. And I think everybody kind of saw that. So kudos to NASCAR for finding a way to figure it out. And, you know, I'm sure there will be some unintended consequences of this, but they'll figure that out in the meantime and continue going forward. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's something that came up with the drivers, right? I don't think that they just said, we're going to blow up qualifying on their own. I think it's probably a concern that drivers or teams had after seeing the data. And, you know, I don't pay a ton of attention to qualifying most weeks, but having worked qualifying for PRN at the Bristol race and really having to pay attention, the second group was faster than the first for the most part. Like the guy who was number 1 in Group A probably would have been about 7 or 8 in Group B. So, you know, it does make a difference. And so that's just helping even out the playing field a little bit, especially if the track position is important.
All right. I'm trying to think of what else there was. There was something else. Trucks. There was this trucks thing too.
They took away.
The pit stops.
Well, they made pit stops all be competitive. So what they had done in the past is that the standalone truck series events, the pit stops were non-competitive. In other words, you went into the pit like you do see at your local short track. You go into the pit, you pit your car, and you come out the same way you came in. Pit stops don't mean anything. And actually, I've talked to my friends here locally that have a truck series team, and it's just going to. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of this particular rule because I think it's going to further separate the haves and the have-nots. He was basically telling me that the pit crews and the truck series have kind of become the wild, wild west because everybody's now got to pay money to have them at every race instead of a lot of these truck series teams just lease their pit crews from Cup Series teams. That's why when they're separated, they were not doing the competitive pit crews because you don't have to employ a pit crew. So now when the trucks are at, or when the Cup is at, I think the weekends are different this year, but just as an example, last year the Cup Series was at Atlanta and the Xfinity Series was in Atlanta. Trucks were at Mid-Ohio. They did not have competitive pit crews because all the pits were down in Atlanta. Well, now those truck teams all have to find somebody to pit their crew in Mid-Ohio. And so obviously if you're formerly KBM, now Spire Motorsports truck team, or you are ThorSport, those teams have a lot of money. They're just going to go out and find some guy that maybe got laid off because of contraction or whatever from Hendrick or whatever, and pay them to pit their team. But if you're Holloman Racing, Stuart Holloman Friesen Racing, or you are Henderson Motorsports, is who I talked to today, you do not have a budget for a pit crew. So, do you not race? How do you find the people? I don't pit your team. So I don't know that I like this one as much because it's further separating the haves and have not, and creating an expense for truck teams, which already don't make a lot of money. Most truck teams barely break even with travel with the prize money. I mean, all their money has to come from sponsorships. So, but they've done that because the TV and the fans want to see competitive pit stops. So they say.
Well, TV is what matters. Sorry, it is what it is. And there's a lot of TV news to take in. And obviously we're making up for lost time here, but a lot going on, including next Tuesday night. Netflix is debuting a new series, and it's all leading up to, of course.
It's going to be amazing.
It is. And I'll tell you, full disclosure, I canceled Netflix about a month ago. So there just wasn't anything on it. And now with which I don't watch WWE, but a lot of folks who canceled are probably going to go back at now that they've got Monday Night Raw. And, they're really making a push for live sports, and NASCAR's part of it. And this is going to be very interesting to watch play out. I'm kind of excited for this, for this show, as of course the clash at the Coliseum looms.
Yes. A week from this Sunday.
How wild is that?
It's wild. As I've been going to all these preseason events, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this now. I was just in Nashville for the banquet like 2 minutes ago.
Again, shortest off season in all of sports.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Well, there you go.
Apparently, we're having a party because time flew.
Clearly, yes. Yeah. Whether we know it or not, right?
But yeah, we are certainly looking forward to getting back into the swing of things with you, Heather, here on Wednesdays as we talk NASCAR each and every Wednesday. Make sure that you guys join us at 2:25 on Wednesdays. And Heather, as always, we appreciate it. We look forward to talking to you again, and I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about next week after the first episode and before
before the clash.
And before the clash. And Lord knows what else NASCAR decides to just hand out on random Tuesdays.
Yeah. Well, we still have the charter agreement decision looming. I think they want to get that finished and cleaned up before the start of the season too. So that'll be really interesting. Another storyline to keep our eye out on.
No doubt. Heather Williams joining us. Heather, are your Chiefs going to win this Sunday?
Do you want the answer from my heart or from my head?
Oh, well, we know the answer from your heart.
Because they're in conflict right now. They can. I think that if the Chiefs are not making mistakes and playing as good as they can play, as we saw last week against Buffalo, they can run with anyone in the league when they're playing to their full potential. The question is McCole Hardman going to drop fumble balls? Is Valdez Scantling going to drop passes. You know, are our tackles going to take plays off and get Patrick Mahomes in trouble because they're not blocking for him? You know, those are the questions that have to be answered. If the team showed up last week in Buffalo, we may not win, but we will definitely be down to the wire. If the team that showed up that was playing around week 10 shows up, we'll lose by 20.
And there you go.
Well, you're playing your best football at the right time. That's what matters.
For sure.
So.
For sure. They are playing very well right now. And I mean, we have Patrick Mahomes. You can count us out.
And isn't the pressure kind of on Baltimore?
I think so.
Oh yeah, everybody has them as the. I mean, for weeks have had them penciled in as the Super Bowl. Nobody had the Chiefs really once they got off to their kind of not so great start with Tony and Sky Moore dropping passes and making all mistakes. You know, plus they've all been there, right? Most of them have been there. They have their rings. If they don't get another ring, they might take a ding for not being a dynasty, but everybody already knows that they're good, right? Everybody knows what Patrick Mahomes is. His legacy
6 for 6,
even though he's not retired. But you know, is Lamar Jackson in the conversation? If he wins 2 MVPs and wins a Super Bowl, then he starts to be in Mahomes' conversation. If he doesn't, he becomes Josh Allen, the guy who could never beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, all the pressure's on Lamar and the Ravens, no doubt.
Yeah.
Heather, thank you. We will talk to you next week.
Sounds good, guys.
Thanks.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got some NBA discussion and much more. So stick around. Main Street Sports Take, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, is back after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint in the Mobile Lee Company studio in the Glass House on the campus of Middle Tennessee State. It is Murphy Center and Jack State, MTSU tonight. Going to be a lot of fun. We've already had some folks come up here and say they're not surprised to see us. When these two teams get together, you're likely going to see us. I'm just it just is what
particularly
it is.
here. I mean, we've not made the trek to Jacksonville yet, but it's probably coming.
I had Slick Pig today.
You had Slick Pig today.
I did. Well, that's on you. You could have got here earlier.
Well, you could have said you were going too.
I didn't know I was going until I got. So I when I left the office, I didn't know where I was going, and then I thought, oh, I should go to Slick Pig. Well, I had just passed the turn to get on Main Street, and so I had to go around the back way. And then I got here. I was right next to it and didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, this is perfect. I'm not too far away, but we'll have to make the comparison, the Slick Pig, Cooter Browns comparison.
Man,
not that I'm sure, not that it matters, really.
No. I mean, once you get to a certain level, it really doesn't matter. But man, I've heard so many great things about Cooter Browns that
it is worth it. So we're definitely going to find our way to Jacksonville.
Yeah, we're going to have to make a road trip. Before we go much further, we need to clean something up from our top story, because a listener, and thank you, Rodney Elam, pointed out that
A&T and Hampton also play for the national title.
Yes, that Tennessee State is not the only HBCU that plays for a FCS championship. That North Carolina, A&T, and Hampton also
are they in
do.
Colonial? Or?
I believe so. They were in the MEAC,
right?
And they both left the MEAC.
That's why
they might be in the Big South.
They may be. That's why I got confused, because they weren't all. They didn't always.
Yeah.
TSU for a long time
but they are not. So again, thank you, Rodney, for pointing that out to us. We certainly want to
be as accurate as possible.
Yes. So appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Now,
all right, we got.
Okay, so let me set this up.
Please do.
Okay, yesterday after the show, and before I went over to Columbia Academy for their basketball game against Grace Christian, I went and got something to eat. And I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling through Twitter as I am wont to do, and I see that Milwaukee Bucks first-year coach Adrian Griffith has been fired. Did a little digging, saw that the Bucks under first-year coach Adrian Griffith were 30 and 13. The second best record in the NBA. And you fired this guy. So what do? Well, I reach out to our NBA expert, Landon Sechrist. And I said, hey,
what's the deal?
Hang on.
Who thought this was a good idea?
Mm-hmm. What's up with the Bucks firing a first-year coach who's 30 and 13? Been trying to figure it out. Caught me by surprise. Okay, so I feel better at this point because Landon watches and knows as much NBA as anybody, and certainly more than me. And he was as shocked as we were. So,
well, and we talked about this in the offseason. The guy they fired and hired him didn't deserve to be fired.
And so the rest of that story is that on CBS Sports yesterday, as they were talking about this, they said one of the potential replacements was Mike Budenholzer.
I don't think that. I think the only person who was going to replace him
has replaced him. Yeah. Apparently, Doc Rivers is going to get the gig, but I mean,
dude signed a 4-year deal.
So did you fire him to hire Doc?
Yep.
Why didn't you hire Doc to start with then?
It's a great question.
He was available.
Yep. Because the 76ers
had fired him.
Did the same thing.
Speaking of stupid.
Listen, man, the NBA coaching situation is absolutely ridiculous.
Do you want to be a coach in the NBA?
You certainly don't in Milwaukee.
Well, but
Doc, you
But-
just got
but-
fired from a successful organization. You had a good season and got fired. Now, I know there was some issues with some of the superstars. I get that. And I guess that's the issue here. Because there were some superstars who apparently didn't feel very good about the situation.
I thought they were all on the same page. Superstars being Giannis and Dame.
They might be on the same page.
I thought all three of them were.
Well, something has changed. I don't know what it is.
It's bizarre. I mean, and again, I preface all of it by saying I don't keep up a whole lot with the NBA, but when a guy who has the second best record in the league gets fired before the All-Star break, it's a little odd.
After losing in the first round of the playoffs last year to the Heat, the Bucks fired Budenholzer and said they didn't know if they were going to re-sign Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. Lopez was receiving heavy traction from Houston, blah, blah, blah. They weren't sure if Giannis would be extending. They braced for the possibility of taking a step back from this BleacherReport.com article I am reading.
Mm-hmm.
All of those factors contributed to why the Bucks felt comfortable in offering the head coaching job to someone who had never held the title prior. However, when the Bucks surprisingly pulled off the offseason's biggest acquisition by trading for Dame Lillard, expectations suddenly changed. Griffin found himself in a win now or else proposition, and then he
was.
And then he did.
30-13. That's pretty win now.
This is from now. Sounds like a column to me. The defense took a dip, and while the offense has been stellar at times, it lacked fluidity and consistency. Players privately complained about their roles, touches, chemistry, and constantly questioned the schemes on both sides of the ball. Griffin attempted to draw the core players closer by having an airing out session. After they lost to the Pacers in the in-season tournament, he called a meeting with Giannis, Lillard, Middleton, and Lopez. All four spoke on what was working, what wasn't working, and how they could best be utilized. He was stern in telling the players that sacrifice was required, sources say.
Okay, so I'm looking at a CBS Sports article from 23 minutes ago by Jack Maloney. Why the Bucks fired a coach who won 70% of his games. 9 incidents that led to Adrian Griffin's dismissal. Subhead: Griffin and his veteran players were never on the same page, and now Doc Rivers is in charge in Milwaukee. And as it says, it's got 9 bullet points here as to why Adrian Griffin is no longer at the helm of the Bucks.
Okay.
So, and as you said, apparently
over time, Griffin lost the locker room. The front office believed a drastic change was necessary. Listen, not everybody can be Phil Jackson.
While the timing of the decision remains surprising, the fact that the Bucks front office ultimately arrived at this point is not. Over the past few months, there have been numerous signs, some more obvious than others, that Griffin and his players were not on the same page.
So basically, they're 30-13 because they have
Giannis and
Dame, Middleton, and Lopez. Yeah. And the rest of the East sucks outside of Boston.
They are 30-13 in spite of Griffin, not because of Griffin. Which, now to be fair,
that's not unusual.
Was probably going to be the case.
Yeah,
with whoever the coach was.
You could have put me and you out there and probably won 25 games.
Yeah, because I'm not moving and I'm not saying a thing.
Y'all go do.
Y'all go play.
Matter of fact, they'd probably love us, and we'd do it for half the price.
Quarter.
Well, we just split it.
Yeah.
Co-head coaches. We'll just, half the price. We'll split that, and you'd be good to go. And you don't. I mean, and then if you fire us, well, you still got to pay us apparently because they're paying 3 of them.
Budenholzer, Griffin, and Doc.
And Doc Rivers.
All drawing checks from the Bucks. Hey, I'm not mad at any of them.
Definitely
and I'm not mad at I'm not mad at the Bucks. I mean, if that's how you want to spend it, go ahead.
Yeah. But you know, Doc Rivers is certainly going to have his work cut out to get to the finals. They've got plenty of competition in the Celtics. And once they get to the finals, who knows?
But you got Giannis. You'll take your chances.
You'll take your chances, no doubt. And we'll take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Got Terry McCormick joining us, and there's plenty of Titans news to talk about, so stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, is back in a moment.
He shoots, and he scores!
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Time now to talk a little Titans with Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com, powered by Zen Sports. Terry, how are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well. It is a busy day in Titans land. A little bit of shuffling around with the announcement of Brian Callahan as the new head coach, and certainly seems like a little step up in power for Rand Carthon especially, and then also Chad Brinker getting a promotion as well. It looks like, the whole collaboration thing is good as long as the people are collaborating, but it certainly looks like Rand Carthon is the one that's been appointed to run the show and oversee everything and make sure that things are going in the direction that Amy Adams Strunk wants them to go.
But also doesn't have to deal with like the grind of the day-to-day, because they have, what's the other guy's name? John? What's the other guy's name?
The other
the guy under Brinker,
general manager,
the analytics guy.
That's Chad Brinker, and then the other guy is Robinson. His name is I think it's Anthony Robinson.
So those guys are kind of dealing with the grind portion of it, and Rand is really he's got the big overview, deal with the coaches, pick the players, etc. But you don't have to bog yourself down with a bunch of majoring in the minors, as they say.
True, but he is still going to be the guy that, as the general manager, will pick the players, oversee the draft, and do all the things. He's essentially going to have the same role that John Robinson had and way back when that Floyd Reese had.
I think this is huge. And now we know. Like, now we know a little something.
Sure, absolutely. I think it clarifies a lot of things that were going on over there. They were very shrouded in mystery, shall we say, once Mike Vrabel was fired, when Rand Carthon didn't give much information in terms of the vision and who was answering to who and all that. Well, all that's been clarified now. And then with the hiring of Brian Callahan as your head coach, what direction they're wanting to go as an organization. They're wanting to leave the 1980s behind and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and wanting to come into the 21st century of modern football, throwing the ball all over the place, finding weapons and protection for Will Levis, and building things around a quarterback, which a good portion of the league is trying, which a good portion of the league has already done, and the other portion of the league is trying to emulate.
So officially, Rand Carthon now carries the title of Executive Vice President / General Manager. Chad Brinker has been promoted to President of Football Operations, which is a new role.
A new role, and kind of encompasses a lot of different things. I mean, it sounds like he's going to be over everything from the analytics to the video and the communications departments, also the grounds as far as security and all those sorts of things, but he's still also going to have his hand in scouting. So Chad Brinker is going to end up wearing a lot of hats in this, the way this thing is set up, it sounds like. And then, of
As
course,
president of
he'll
football,
report to Rand Carthon, and Brian Callahan will report to Rand Carthon as well.
as president of football operations, Brinker will provide executive leadership and support for the entire football side of the organization. His day-to-day responsibilities will include direct oversight of the football departments that address salary cap management, analytics and strategy, communications and information systems, and team operations, including security, video, equipment, and grounds. Brinker will also
I don't know about you, but overseeing the guy that is managing the salary cap, which in this case it's Ben Marino, and overseeing the person who is heading up the security for the team. That's pretty far-reaching spectrum right there.
Brinker will also continue to provide scouting evaluations of top talent in both college and the NFL. I'm not sure when Chad Brinker is going to sleep.
No. Again, these are things that Rand
good luck to him
doesn't have to do. Thank goodness. I'm hoping Chad can delegate to someone else, at least something.
I'm sure he'll be able to delegate some of that, but there's going to be a lot of late nights for Mr. Brinker, it appears.
Well, he might be able to delegate, but it's his job. He's still going to have to answer for it.
He better be delegating to somebody that knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm, because he's the buck stops.
Yeah,
at Brinker,
and Brinker is the buck.
Mm-hmm.
I love that the roles have been really well defined, and we know who is in charge of what. One of the things I found interesting about Rand's job title was essentially team medicine. And
well, I think that's overseeing the training staff as well.
Correct.
And this team has dealt with a lot of injuries over the last 2 or 3 years. So I think he's going to be overseeing who they hire or fire as trainers and that sort of thing. My guess is that some of the current group can probably pack their things. I would guess that they're going to go in a different direction here, but he will be the one in charge of overseeing that they have, an adequate training staff and that the players are well taken care of. And here's a theory I threw out on Twitter the other day. Tell me if you guys buy this. I think the number of injuries that the Titans have will probably decrease with their change in philosophy and change in style of play. And here's why I say that. When you play that smash mouth, hard-hitting physical style that Mike Vrabel is very fond of, that Mike Mularkey before him was very fond of, and going all the way back that Jeff Fisher was fond of. Well, it was okay to play that style 10, 15, 20 years ago, but now with the NFLPA getting involved and cutting down on the number of off-season practices, cutting down on the number of, outlawing 2-a-days in training camp, limiting the number of physical padded practices that you can have during a season, plus the colleges not sending as many of those types of players into the NFL, it's hard to get acclimated and stay acclimated to that style of play in today's NFL. And I think that led to a lot of the injuries because
the last part was huge. That they're not used to it. They don't play that at the college level. So unless you're going to get a bunch of guys from Iowa and, teams that play that type of football,
it's tough to bring them into the league. And then,
I mean, the colleges aren't sending out very many, running backs that look like Derrick Henry anymore. And they're not sending out very many offensive linemen that are, big, massive blocks of granite like a Roger Saffold was. It's getting harder and harder to play that style. And then when you insist on playing that style, that's where guys get hurt because they're not acclimated to it.
Well, and I read something today, and I don't know how accurate this is. You've been around the team a lot more than I have, so maybe you can confirm, deny, or maybe not. I don't know. But I read something that, Mike Vrabel was physically and mentally tough on players. And this staff, as you say, with this change in philosophy, nobody has a lighter offseason than the Bengals. That's going to make a difference. I think you're exactly right.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to make it. It's definitely a, shall we say, a changing of the guard over at St. Thomas Sports Park, going in a different direction. Now, that's not to say that there won't be some injuries, because football is a rough physical contact sport. There's going to be some of that. But, with the way you condition and the style that you play, you can avoid some of those things that I think that this team has fallen into in the last few years.
I would agree. When we look at this staff and as it's going to come together and how far away are we talking for a coaching staff? Because obviously you kind of need to get your guys in to evaluate what you have if you're Rand Carthen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that process probably starts immediately, because you're talking about having to leave for the Senior Bowl, I think next week, Sunday or Monday is when that starts. So you need some people, in addition to your scouts who are already there, you need some people to hit the ground running and start evaluating these players that are going to be at the Senior Bowl. And then before you know it, you'll have the combine, you'll have free agency. So I would think that over the next 2 weeks, Brian Callahan's going to want to have, if not a full staff, certainly enough of a working staff that these evaluations can start, because there's plenty of holes on this roster that have to be filled. And, not all of them are going to be, filled with players who are currently on this roster. I think there'll be some guys that they'll obviously move on from. That said, there may be a couple of guys who get a new lease on life because there's a new staff in town that evaluates them differently maybe than the previous staff did. And one guy that I'll throw out there and tell me, and I'm not saying that they would want to keep him, but, you need as many good cornerbacks as possible. And Christian Fulton and Mike Vrabel obviously did not see eye to eye in terms of, player and coach. But Christian Fulton physically is a very talented cover cornerback, and those things don't grow on trees. So maybe that's a guy that gets another look from this coaching staff, a quick evaluation that says, hey, let's see about, offering this guy a little bit to come back here, and let's see if, if he can make it work in a different system. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that Fulton's coming back. He may want to move on from here after the experience that he had. But certainly this coaching staff is going to have to evaluate everybody that's on the roster and those about to exit the roster to see if there are guys that they want to hang on to.
No doubt. Terry McCormick with your daily Titans update, TitanInsider.com for more, powered by Zen Sports. Terry, thanks. We appreciate it.
All right.
Tell us about Zen Sports, Terry.
The new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee the last few months, and I'm excited to share with you some big news. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 no-danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports with up to plus 500 odds, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to a $1,000 maximum within 24 hours if the bet loses. And there's more good news. Zen Sports is rolling out its brand new VIP rewards program. This new VIP rewards program will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. The VIP program is by invite only, so if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals than Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
This holiday season, the largest lantern festival in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. Witness more than 1,000 handcrafted Chinese lanterns featuring brand new designs, including towering mythical beasts, a life-sized Santa's workshop, and a 100-foot-long dragon. Welcome back to Zoolumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Like, apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I know.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio, too.
As do we.
And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
and we reach every main street in Middle Tennessee, Coach?
Yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
you gotta love it.
Like you're moving. I was impressed.
I'm glad someone. Hey, welcome back in. We are live at the Glass House Murphy Center on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University again tonight. Jacksonville State is in town for a Conference USA matchup, and looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And
Chris, did Joe lose his windscreen? Oh, can you not? Are you not getting any?
I don't have a windscreen.
Okay, he's not getting any audio.
Let's try to turn him up then. How about that? Is that better? Let's see here. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I just didn't have the audio. I apologize.
Turn him up.
Big question.
Now, can we hear it? No, I can't
can.
because I have to turn you off. There we go. You should be able to hear it now.
There we go. I think we're good.
Hey, folks, look how they're treating me. I come here in person, and
we
I
asked him
can't
to
hear.
come on.
They can't hear me. What? I don't understand.
We're just not very hospitable. But joining us live here on Main Street Sports Today, he usually joins us on Wednesdays at this time, but not usually in person. But Joe Sullivan of NashvilleHoops.blog, as we gear up for this matchup between Jacksonville State and host Middle Tennessee State in Conference USA play. And I'm just going to say, I'm not really looking forward to this one, given the past Conference USA performances of the home team.
Can they get to 60? 60 points. Can they score 60 points? Can they score 65 points? I mean, that the offense is the question.
Clearly.
And
I don't see anything that makes me think that the answer to that question is yes.
It's true. I was just looking over the stats earlier today, and 3 of their starters are shooting under 40% for the season. And as a team, they shoot 27% from the three-point line, from behind the three-point line.
Well, and here's the biggest thing, though, Joe. You shoot that badly on the shots that you are getting while you're turning it over more times than a baker.
Yeah, they had like 27 down in UTEP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. If you shoot decently, you got a chance. I don't think there's anything you can do to overcome 27 turnovers, to be honest. But at the same time, if you shoot decently, maybe you give yourself a chance. But when you shoot badly and you turn it over 27 times in a 40-minute game, that's not a recipe for success. Jim.
No, and I don't know where he's going to find the offense. These just don't seem to be natural offensive players on the roster. Reminds me of an old Lou Carnesecca story. Do you guys know who Lou Carnesecca is?
I do.
I do.
I knew you would know. No. So he's the old coach of St. John's. When St. John's Georgetown with John Thompson Jr. Was really a big rivalry. Lou Carnesecca was the coach of St. John's with Chris Mullen and Walter Berry, and those were great games. But Lou had a group that really shot poorly. His star was a guy named Curtis Redding, who had transferred from Kansas State and really didn't pan out, and they couldn't shoot at all. And so Lou, for a couple of years, just had this team that couldn't shoot. And he said he tried everything. They shot extra. They shot less. They didn't shoot at all. He bought them T-shirts that said the gang that couldn't shoot straight. Nothing worked. And he said finally, he figured out the only thing that could work, graduation.
Well, and the thing about
maybe what we're looking at here.
Well, nowadays you don't even have to wait till graduation.
Yeah, right. Transfer portal.
Thank goodness.
But okay, so how many minutes does Trey Green play tonight? Yeah, coming off of his 6 3-pointer performance in the loss at New Mexico State. I mean, you got to give him more time. Right?
I agree. You would think he would find some playing time. Absolutely. So it's because they just need
more
it.
shots.
It's maybe some easy twos. The 3-point play, the shot is so overwhelmingly. How can I say this? Emphasized in today's basketball. But you know what? You can win a lot of games by shooting twos very well, and you see it all the time. And in fact, on Nashville Hoop Stop Live, we note that occasionally as I campaign for good 2-point shooting among basketball teams. And
that's a campaign we can get behind.
The lost art of the mid-range jumper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's look, I think Mo, you make the best point. It starts with taking care of the ball. Make the most of your opportunities. If you limit your turnovers and get more attempts than the other team, now you're starting to find a.
I mean, if you can get a shot off, you got a chance. If you can't shoot, and you're not being able to shoot, then you're pretty well doomed. But
and get good ones. It's got to be a good shot when it leaves your hand, whether it goes in or not.
And
right?
Joe, as you've talked on other segments with us, layups. I mean, creating some shots with your defense, that kind of thing. Lengthening the bench and trying to turn up the defensive pressure. I mean, that's got to be the way they've got to go at this point, isn't it?
So I think Nick would love to press more, but you need to make baskets to set up your press. And so he's up against it with that too.
It's a circle. Huh?
Yeah, it is a circle.
Thomas flat circle.
It is. But look, they have Jacksonville State tonight. No offense, they can win this game.
Yeah, Jacksonville State's not great.
And
well, that's good.
And Florida International on Saturday. Now,
also not great. Jacksonville beat them. So
now's the time. This is the time that Middle Tennessee State needs to win. Just Mo had the site up, the National Hoop Stop blog site up over here, and I saw a headline we wrote that said, "This week, the week ahead, Belmont really needs to win 2 games." So we could just say the same thing. The week ahead, Middle Tennessee really needs to win these 2 games. Belmont, unfortunately, did not win last night at Illinois State, and they really never looked like they were going to win all night.
And it was really interesting because this team started out MVC play really hot, and then of course Jacoby Gillespie goes down, and it feels like the wheels have fallen off. Here's the good thing, as we've noted on this show and with you, in mid-major basketball, this part of the season really doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, you're going to get Jacoby Gillespie back when it really matters in regards to the NCAA tournament, at least.
3 days in St. Louis in early March.
That's it.
But a worthy discussion would be whether Indiana State's an at-large candidate.
I think they are.
And I'm
not the only one.
There's a lot of bracketologists out there. I'm biased. Joe Lunardi from ESPN is one of the originators and still the best, I think. There's a lot of good ones too. I don't mean
we're biased against Joe.
We're not Lunardi fans.
All right, so he's a good friend of mine.
Well, tell him that he.
Good. Let's
his bias against Tennessee is a problem.
So you got to remember this about Joe. He has no biases when he's putting the bracket together.
Uh-huh.
It's all mathematics. It's all mathematics to him.
Okay, so after you get off, since you and Joe are such good friends, we're going to get his
have
phone
a
number from you.
conversation.
No,
We'll yeah,
we'd love to get.
we want to give it out over the air. Yeah.
No.
But,
we don't want to do him like that. Not in this.
What's that called? Doxing.
Yeah,
we don't want to do that.
Honestly, what he does is try to predict what the committee's doing. It's not
Right.
what if Joe Lunardi was putting the field together, he would put Indiana State and Bradley in it, or Indiana State.
Sure.
Okay.
So
because he knows that
Yeah.
mid-major basketball is still pretty darn good.
Yes, but he doesn't put the field together, and so
He
what
does
he's
not.
trying to do is give you a realistic view
of what the committee is
correct.
going to do.
But he does have Indiana State in his next 4 out today. He does this every day. The bracket changes for Joe, and he has a daily email he sends out that I'm lucky enough to be included on receiving. So today, Indiana State moved into next 4 out, which means they have a shot. They have to keep winning.
Mhm.
And for basketball fans out there, next Wednesday night, January 31st, Indiana State at Belmont at 6:30. That's a game that is, if you're going to go see a college basketball game in the Nashville area this year, I would recommend that because I think Indiana State's really entertaining and interesting. And Belmont will be on their home court. So maybe.
We saw what that meant against Drake.
Yes, exactly. And maybe Jacoby Gillespie will be back. That would really change things
I think so.
for them.
Again, as we've talked on this show on previous occasions, Malik Dia continues to come on.
Yeah. And, it's I wrote this today. So Malik is now the team's leading scorer. And there's nothing wrong with that, except the fact that, like, Cade Tyson's point production has reduced. And Malik has been able to pass him. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing for Belmont for Tyson to be scoring fewer points. It is the Missouri Valley particularly have been very physical with him, and he's had to fight for everything. And he's had a difficult time. He's still averaging 17 points a game. So he's not a detriment to the team. That's not what we're talking about. But he should be out. Or he could be averaging like 20 points a game if Belmont was being Belmont, scoring 80 points plus a game. In this 4-game losing streak that Belmont has, they're scoring about 72 points a game.
Well, and you have to wonder how much of that is fatigue.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that here. Cade Tyson played 39, Isaiah Walker 32, Dia 27, which
foul trouble.
I was going to say that had to be foul trouble.
Yeah, foul trouble. Yeah.
33 for Keyshawn Davidson and Jace
Willingham, 38 minutes. So when they get Jace Willingham is a graduate transfer from Lee University, who's a very good Division II player. But I guarantee you, if we had put the lie detector on Casey Alexander in November and said, how many minutes a game is Jace Willington going to play?
The answer would not have been 38.
The answer would not have been 38. And see, that's the positions he's in.
Right.
And it's he's a decent player, but he would be great as the 7th, 8th man. I think,
but not playing 38 minutes.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's the problem that Jacoby, because you've said it. Casey likes to play 8. He's only been able to play 6, maybe 7, and then you take.
I think he'd like to play 9, 10.
Yeah, and you take Gillespie out. That's just another body that he's not able to play at a high level.
And that's when you get minute totals like that.
And that's what this is. So Belmont finds itself in a really precarious situation overall, in that they've got probably one of their best 2 or 3 players that's not able to play, forcing them to play guys who shouldn't be seeing a lot of MVC minutes.
That's true. And Gillespie is important in both offense and defense. He puts pressure on the other team's guards, and he can start fast breaks off of steals or after baskets, which give you easy baskets. And, Casey has pointed this out. They haven't been getting the easy baskets, and Gillespie has a lot to do with that. He's a terrific player, and they need him sooner rather than later. But it's a wrist injury of which they not giving the details about, just that he is continuing to rehab the injury and is expected to play at some point this season.
You said the the cast was off.
Correct. Yes. So we were at the game last Saturday, and he was across the court, and you could see where he used to have a hard cast, and now it was like blue cloth. So he definitely has made progress, I would say. Dr. Sullivan here would say he's made some progress because the hard cast is off and the soft one's on.
That would seem to be progress.
It's logical. Yeah.
Yeah. Tennessee State with a good road win up at Western Illinois over the weekend. Jason
Jatobo.
Thank you.
Glad you can say it.
No, Penny Collins taught me. That's
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
He trained me.
Yeah.
Jatobo.
With the game-winning basket with 3 seconds, I believe it was 3 seconds left.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yes.
As they won 58-57. So now their reward is to go back to Illinois again this coming weekend to play
Life in the OVC.
Yeah, no doubt. To play at Eastern Illinois. But they've had a week. They will have had a week off to kind of heal up some bumps and bruises and that kind of thing before they go back out on the road. But they'll have a little confidence, I would think, from that Western Illinois victory. And this is a team that, again, has some expectations on it in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Yeah, and so the game before they had the home victory at that, and I'm sorry, drawing a blank on the opponent, but forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a home OVC victory, and I guess it was Lindenwood. Maybe I have it right.
I think it was Lindenwood.
And Penny said it's the best game they played all year. So then they come back and they go on the road and they beat Western Illinois. All this without Marcus Fitzgerald, their senior point guard, who has a thumb injury and is, he's supposed to be back. But who's taking his minutes is Justin Williams, like a 6'4" sophomore from Los Angeles. And he has really come in and done a great job for them. But I think, Jalen Jones is playing well again. He had a little slump there, and I'm high on him talent-wise. Mm-hmm. And as you say, Jatobo is a monster. He's 6'10", 300 pounds. There's no one in the OVC who really can match that size.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Penny's strategy, and I'm sure they'll try to do it again Saturday, is when they go to Eastern Illinois, is to pound it at him to start. Inside, out to Christian Brown after that. I think that is a great strategy. And just looking ahead for Tennessee State, another great game, February 1st, which is Thursday night next week. Mm-hmm. Morehead State comes to Gentry Center in a crucial OVC game. Now, if they were to beat Eastern Illinois, they'd be 5-3, and they'd have Morehead coming in. That shapes up as a really big game for them.
TSU has won their last 3. They beat Lindenwood at home. They beat Tennessee Tech at home.
Tennessee Tech is the game. Western. I'm sorry. Thank you. That he said it was the best game they played all year.
They won at 85-53.
Yeah, they looked great. And so we've talked about them being a talented team and haven't fulfilled it all the time. They've injuries have been a problem, but there's potential there. So it's I think we should stay on top of Tennessee State as a team that has a chance in the OVC still.
The last time we talked to you, we mentioned that Lipscomb was the most likely team to make the NCAA tournament, and they promptly lost due to 19 three-pointers from Central Arkansas. Now, again, that's an anomaly. That's not going to happen very often in any level of basketball, so you can't put a whole lot of stock into that.
Lenny Acuff says thanks.
Yeah, well, but Lenny Acuff and his team did bounce back.
Never happens around here.
Inside joke. Sorry, we'll talk you later. Anyway, they come back, get a big win over Tuna.
Yeah, so Lenny said there's like 3 games a year where there's nothing you can do about the other team's just going to do something so excellent that you can't counter it. And he threw that game, the Central Arkansas game, into that category. But now in the Central Arkansas game, Will Pruitt, who we know what an important player he is for them, got a hip pointer, and he did not play Saturday, but they won anyway. So they rebounded with a great second half to win that game on Saturday, and now they have ahead of them the Florida. We're 3 consecutive games in Florida.
Oof!
And it starts at Gulf Coast, and then who beat Florida Atlantic earlier this year,
Dunk City,
and then they go to Stetson, who is a decent unit, and then North Florida is the third game, and North Florida was really picking at the bottom of the league, but I think they're third in the standings. They've really surprised people. And North Florida leads the nation in three-pointer attempts per game. They shoot more threes than any team in the country. So they pose a certain challenge. So look, Lipscomb, Pruitt, I talked to him after the game. Every day he's trying to play. He's a tough kid. So if he can, he will. And they need him. They really need him.
Chris, you made a comment.
I'm down to 2. I got 2 left.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay. That's what I was
Are
going to
we
ask
going to Vanderbilt now?
Yeah. Chris mentioned a week ago that this upcoming 4-game stretch for Vanderbilt, at the time it was upcoming, it was Auburn, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Auburn.
It was 5. We were talking about Ole Miss, too.
It's Ole Miss.
We were talking about Ole Miss, yeah.
Okay. So at Ole Miss, at Memorial against Auburn, at Mississippi State, at home against Tennessee, and at Auburn. They were going to win one of those 5.
Things started really well in an Auburn game, and then I started watching, and Auburn went on a 10-0 run, and I was like, well, my bad.
I was just about to tweet the Chris Yao play up to the competition theory is in place,
and then they didn't fell off the cliff. It's because I started watching. I promise you. They were up 16-15. I stopped watching after it was 28-16.
Well, Vanderbilt fans would probably pay you to not watch then if that's the case.
Well, if that's a good way to, I'll take it.
So we know how well Tennessee's playing, though.
Yeah,
but
it's Memorial. It's Memorial,
and it's a rivalry game.
And battered Vol syndrome is real.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a tough time talking him into the idea that Vanderbilt can't win this ball game. But I'm going to say this: I don't know who for Vanderbilt matches up with
Zero. There ain't nobody on the team. I don't know that Jerry Stackhouse can match up with him.
Jerry still looks like he could play, but
he does look like he can play,
great.
And he might take that as a challenge.
And I've always said that he can really wear a suit, and he's gonna outdress everybody. He just looks great.
Yeah, if he decides that's what he wants to do,
that's the best looking thing on the court.
yeah, without question. But yeah, this Saturday game, Tennessee up to 5 this week?
They were 5, and I think they're 4.
Are they 4?
On Monday.
We've not talked about this week's AP.
We have not talked about the AP basketball poll this week. We typically do. We have not. So that's a good question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, but at any rate.
And plus they're playing offense so much better now.
They were 6th.
Connect the dots. And that guy, he's just really
cool. The more I think about it, I don't understand how he's not number 4. I mean, you said it first, and it just kind of, whenever I watch him, it's like, how?
Sir, it was right there. It was right there.
I mean, how did nobody at UT say, are you sure this is the number you want?
4 is not the number. Are you sure?
You don't want 4?
How do you
We're going to give you 4 anyway.
Yeah, I would have just made you are Connect Force.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
But he has been probably one of the best players in the conference in the Southeastern Conference this year. Perhaps the country.
At times.
I mean, and when he goes for 25 and people are saying he had a bad night, that's
so I think he had his limits limited at some point in the season because I guess Rick wasn't happy with him on the defensive end, but that
never happens.
But I think that's changed.
He figured that out.
And now that he's playing, the minutes he's playing, we see what he's doing. He's an incredible story. That as a high school senior, he was only 5'4", if that's accurate, and he went to junior college and did well enough there to go to Northern Colorado and play 2 years there. So
the Scottie Pippen growth spurt.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And it's and look at him now. They're starting to talk about him as an NBA player.
I mean, if you can score at that, at that level that he is scoring at right now, and like you said, Mo, I don't know that Vanderbilt has anybody defensively who can match up. It's with not just him. There's nobody underneath that can play with Adu or Awaka. So, I mean, there's no reason Tennessee should not win this basketball game other than it's in Nashville at Memorial Gymnasium, and that's the only thing that that scares me, because there was no reason that Tennessee last year shouldn't have gone into Memorial Gymnasium and won the basketball game, and yet
they didn't. So, Joe, let me ask you something, because we had someone on the show late last week, I guess, Dave Hooker from Off the Hook Sports up in Knoxville. I don't know how much you've seen UT or Connect.
Some, not mostly concentrated on the local schools here.
He mentioned that Dalton Connect is the best scorer, I guess, at UT since fill in the blank. And he filled it in with Bernard King.
Bernard King? It's a long time ago. Bernard King's my age.
But, I mean.
Exactly. That just goes to show.
What about Ron Slay?
Oof. Slay was good. Slay
No,
was
I
really
love
good.
Ron Slay as a player.
Oh, you have to love Ron Slay as a player.
We said
Played
Chris
with,
Lofton.
not only could he score, but he played with such exuberance and happiness. Gosh.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And has continued that in his
that exuberance
off the court life.
Yes.
Let me just tell you.
Yes. Yeah, he's a joy on the SEC network. But I think Connect is a lot more dangerous in a lot more different ways than Slay was.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
but if we're using the Bernard King in the same sentence, that's saying a lot.
Just the fact that you are having that conversation.
Do we have to include Ernie Grunfeld then too, or are we just going to, because he's a forward, we're going to just include?
I guess probably that's it. Yeah.
Ernie could deserve a mention in this too. Wow. All right. Well, I didn't think of him in those terms. I'll admit that.
Take another look. Yeah. Chris, what else do we have for at Globe Sullivan?
Well, we've touched on all of the teams.
I have something for you
Please
guys.
go for it.
Talk to us.
So we've talked on the show about Robbie Avila, the Indiana State 6'10", 300-pound center, and
Scuba Steve, as Chris likes to call it.
So do you know at Indiana State this Saturday there is a giveaway? They're giving away Robbie Avila goggles to the crowd that he wears when he plays.
Yes.
Like the ones Chris wore in junior high.
Yes, that's right.
In junior high.
Until I was
so
in
you got to
10th
go to the Indiana State game to get your Robbie Avila.
I don't need to.
You got your own.
I've got some at
You
the
can
house.
skip Terre Haute, huh?
I can skip Terre Haute this time anyway.
I was watching them against Murray on Sunday night, and I'd seen him play, but Avila, I guess I didn't. He impressed me so much with his passing, and lots of times you'll see big men get the ball in the low post, and they'll pass out for threes, but he's getting the ball to other people like on the other side of the lane for dunks.
Hey,
that is just like the double team comes, and the right precise moment he gets it over cleanly to the guy, like in a good place. He's extraordinary.
Being able to see the court like that is something that is almost unique to Terre Haute, to be honest with you.
Very good.
I mean, let's be real here. But the vision of a guy that size, you can't teach that, and that is professional basketball level stuff. You see that's something you don't even see at the NBA level very often.
Yeah.
And so,
what if he didn't wear the goggles? You think it'd be the same?
I wonder if he's got mirrors in there. That's next level right there. Mirrors in
might
the
explain a lot, huh?
It would. You got eyes in the back of your head. Well, as a matter of fact.
So I'm interested. I followed him on Twitter today because of the giveaway. It showed up, and I want to see how interesting he is on Twitter because he seems like an interesting guy. We shall see.
You looking for him?
Yeah, I was curious, and I don't even know, is it IE or Y?
Oh, it's so
IE.
Yeah.
IE. Robbie
ROBBIE. Yes.
There he is.
Boy, if we could only put him on the screen for. Yeah, there it is. See,
you gotta love it.
And then they have like the Clark Kent thing.
With the glasses and the kids with the glasses. See, Horace Grant wasn't nearly as cool when I was wearing rec specs in 1998 to 2001. It wasn't cool back then. Because you took them off and you had this big red mark right here. It just wasn't good. So anyway,
do you know I want to say to you, Chris? Here is I did look a little further along in Vandy's schedule. Are we good? And so They're going to lose to Tennessee and Auburn in the next 2 games. They beat Dartmouth, like I said. So that's their only win in their last 10 games.
Goodness gracious.
So after that, you know what comes out? Missouri at home, February 3rd. Maybe. If they don't win that, then comes Kentucky with their new 7-foot superstar.
Who South Carolina just beat Columbia by 17 last night.
And guess where Vanderbilt goes after Kentucky?
South Carolina.
To South Carolina, to Columbia. So, and then Texas A&M comes to Memorial. Then they go at Tennessee.
Man, I don't like the sound of this, Joe.
And then Georgia comes to Memorial. Maybe you can exhale now.
I don't think Georgia,
Georgia should have beat Tennessee.
They're a pretty good basketball team.
Yeah.
So
it's Missouri or bust. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. And only because it's here.
Yeah.
If it were in Como, I don't think they get that one.
Goodness gracious.
So it's sad. It's unfortunate.
It's tough.
Well, and that's it, and it is unfortunate because Stack getting the extension, having the season that they had in the conference play last year was so encouraging for Vanderbilt, and then it's just like Vanderbilt happened. And I don't say that because I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm trying to knock Vanderbilt. I try to, give them the due that they deserve most of the time. But it's
that they deserve historically. Yeah,
but it's just so weird that this, and maybe it's the transfer portal. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But Vanderbilt is better than this. Vanderbilt should be better than this, and Jerry Stackhouse should be able to recruit better than this.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
So at the transfer portal, you got to recruit as astutely in the transfer portal as you do as you recruiting high school
if
players.
Not better.
So Rick Barnes gets Dalton Connect, and the transfers. Now Vanderbilt, like Ezra Manjan, good player out of the transfer portal for Vanderbilt.
Sure.
That one worked, but the ones that came in, the other three.
And then the kids that go out.
Yeah. Evan Taylor.
The kid to LSU.
They just didn't. The kids they brought in just aren't good enough.
Right.
Jordan Wright playing at LSU.
Jordan Wright being at LSU.
Miles Studies at South Carolina.
Dylan Dessou is at Texas.
Correct.
I mean, you put those 3 guys on this team, and Vanderbilt's a very good basketball team.
Yeah, so retention's important.
Yeah.
And you wonder why. Like, what's the issue? Is it the basketball issue? Is it the academic issue?
I don't know what the issue is because, if you are a basketball player and you have aspirations of playing at the next level, why would you not want to play for Jerry Stackhouse?
For a guy who played at the next level and did it pretty damn well.
And who we didn't mention as we went through that is Malik Dia.
There you go.
Who they could use.
Absolutely.
Joe Sullivan of NashvilleHoops.blog joining us here on Main Street Sports today, as he does every Wednesday. I'm not sure that it will be live next Wednesday, but we look forward to having you on again, Joe.
Wasn't this fun? It's fun being in an arena. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. And look, I don't root per se, but I want Middle Tennessee to win.
Well, you can get
out.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I'm on Mo's side this time.
You have to sit in the middle and be neutral. Let's take a quick break. You can stick with us. We've got one more segment, and it's called Wild and Wacky Wednesday, the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. We're going to get into it. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back on Main Street Sports Today. Stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you. No matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in. Time now for the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. And we'll start in sports with a very, very weird story out of Texas Christian. I won't call them TCU.
Thank you.
This time. They lost the ability to be called TCU when they got beat by 60 points in the national championship game. So that is no longer their name on this show.
They are now Texas Christian.
You are Texas Christian henceforth. And they're out in Fort Worth. The women's basketball team started off 14-0, found themselves in the AP top 25, and were rolling until a couple weeks later, Sedona Prince and Madison Connor, 2 20-point scores, and then veteran point guard Jaden Owens all go down injured. They then had to forfeit 2 games. And instead of forfeiting until those players returned, Mo, what did they do?
Held tryouts.
They started posting up on the telephone poles and in the activities building from across all of the campus of Texas Christian. If you played basketball in high school, you could be on our team. Well, they got 4 of them. 40 players tried out. 4 players walked on, including Sarah Sylvester, TCU volleyball player. Sarah Sylvester, who actually got into a game in a 66-60 win over UCF.
She scored?
She did not score, but she did play.
In a 6-point game.
Listen, the fact that if you're the volleyball coach at Texas Christian, how do you feel about this? Listen, Sarah, I appreciate your enthusiasm.
But I'm not sure this is a great idea. So Sedona Prince, you were saying that name. I'm like, that name sounds familiar.
Uh-huh.
She played at Texas. She played at Oregon.
Yes.
And now she's at TCU, and she's hurt again. She also played for the USA national team.
No, she's a great player. I mean, she was the reason they were 14-0 and ranked in the top 25. 6'7".
Yeah. Yes, please.
Broke her ring finger on her right hand in the opening seconds of TCU's first game in 2024 against Baylor. She still played the game, finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds, by the way, with a broken finger.
I told you what TCU's problem was, though, right? They hired the wrong Mark Campbell. Their coach, Mark Campbell, came in from the West Coast, but They probably should have got Union University legend Mark Campbell, who has won like 600, 700 games in his career and is a Franklin Road Academy graduate.
Oh, well, FRA, just cranking out coaches, baby.
The cradle of coaches.
Will Wade,
who apparently is in play at DePaul.
Listen, okay, Joe, Wild and Wacky's out because we got to talk to you about this. I meant to talk about this. Can you imagine that conference? Shaka Smart. Gosh, what is the guy's name?
Xavier? Sean Miller?
Sean Miller, Will Wade, Abada,
Thad Mata.
Thad Mata.
Is it Butler? Yes.
He's at Butler. He was in play at Alabama before Nate Oates got hired.
Yeah.
This could be this could be a conference full of some of the best coaches in the country, much less mid-majors.
So we do have to weigh Will Wade's reputation and history before a school like DePaul with hopefully some good Christian values.
You mean like Hugh Freeze and Liberty?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah,
this is
hypocrisy there also.
This is the DePaul. What did they call Nick Saban's coaching clinic or whatever? Coaching Rehabilitation Center.
Mm-hmm.
It's the DePaul Coaching Rehabilitation Center where they build him back.
Xavier didn't hesitate to hire Sean Miller, who's was fired for cheating, and at Arizona. But Xavier's so desperate to be still legitimate in the Big East, hired him, so I guess if Xavier could do it, maybe DePaul could do it too. I tell you, Will Wade. I did watch McNeese State play the other night. They're 17-2.
They're good,
and he brought in a bunch of transfers. It's a whole new team, and they had a guy from Texas Christian, Sedona Wells, who's their star.
That's wild.
And
Sedona?
No, I got confused. It's not her
okay.
name. That's her name. I'm messing up his first name. Wells is his last name. It's an S. It's an S, and it's like Shahada or something like that.
Okay.
Shahada Wells. I got it. Finally got it. So I think, and Will Wade won at LSU by buying players, and they have him on tape. And then he won at VCU also. So he's a winner. And DePaul could use that. There's very few people left walking the planet that remember when DePaul was good. I'm one of them. I remember Mark McGuire, and even after that, they had great players.
DePaul was a very legitimate program, even into the 90s when I was growing up watching basketball. So I mean, it certainly has the history to be great, but is Will Wade the guy to get in there? I'm just saying that the level of coaching in that conference in the Big East is just absurd. If right now, and then you add Will Wade to it.
I'm going to say two words to you in reference to Will Wade. Blue chips.
Yeah. Don't tell me, like Bob Cousy and Blue chips. Don't tell me a thing.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
It would be disgraceful if DePaul hired Will Wade. It's disgraceful to McNeese State. I know things have changed and now there's NIL, but NIL is being abused, no doubt by Will Wade. And I'm not sure.
Willing to pay.
Lake Charles, Louisiana. Liddy Bessie girl I once knew.
I was going to say,
yeah.
she did win some money on them horses.
Yeah, so maybe that's where it's coming from. I don't know.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, let's get out of here.
We got to go.
But as there's the horn.
There we go.
We got to go. We'll see you guys tomorrow.